Evolution of Superstars in Wrestling Games, AJ Styles Edition. So AJ Styles, of course, made his debut in TNA Impact, which is a very underrated game in my personal opinion. His theme song was, of course, his TNA theme song, Get Ready to Fly, and his finisher was the Styles Clash. Then his next game was TNA Impact Cross the Line, which came out for the PSP and Nintendo DS. I have the Nintendo DS edition. His theme song was still Get Ready to Fly, which you don't actually see the entrance, it's just the Titantron. I'm assuming it's different for the PSP version, but take what you can get. But his finisher stays the Styles Clash. AJ Styles would then be absent from appearing in any video games for 6 years, until he finally made his debut in WWE, debuting in WWE 2K17. There he started with an overall of 89, he started with the theme song Phenomenal, which is phenomenal. For signatures, he had the Calf Crusher and the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker, and then for finishers, he had the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. And then in WWE 2K18, his overall went up to 90, his theme song stayed phenomenal. Additionally, for this game, he was the United States Champion. His signatures were still the Calf Crusher and the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker, and his finishers were still the Phenomenal Forearm and Styles Clash. And then in WWE 2K19, the game which he is on the cover on, he had an overall of 91, his theme song stayed phenomenal, and probably most importantly, he was the WWE Champion in this game. And then for signatures, those stayed the Calf Crusher and the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker, and for finishers, those stayed the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. Additionally, in WWE 2K19, there was the golden version of AJ Styles. Before I get into this, I have to give a very special shout out to Bomb Sturf Receipts for providing the footage that you're looking at right now. He was a huge help, and I really appreciate it. Please go check out his YouTube channel. I have it appearing on the screen right now, and I'm sure I have other ways to access his channel, but please go check him out. He was a huge help. But what makes this so interesting is that the overall of Golden AJ was 100. I think this is the very first time in a wrestling video game where a wrestler had an overall of 100. So very impressive for AJ Styles. But Golden AJ's signatures were the same. They were the Calf Crusher and the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker. And also his finishers were the same, with the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. Oh, also all the moves make little ding sound effects, which is pretty funny. And then in WWE 2K20, his overall maintained at 91. He maintained the theme song Phenomenal, but he is once again the United States Champion, and I believe this is the first time in the series where a wrestler regained their belt between games. But for signatures, he maintained the Calf Crusher and the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker, and for finishers, he had the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. And you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then in WWE Battlegrounds, his overall went up to 93. He still had the Phenomenal theme song, and his finisher was still the Styles Clash. And then in WWE 2K22, his overall actually goes down for the first time, dropping to 91. His theme song was still phenomenal. For signatures, he had the Calf Crusher, and I know I just said if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but he changed it. He switched out the Fireman's Carry Neckbreaker for the 450 Splash. But then for finishers, he still has the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. And then in WWE 2K23, his overall again drops, this time to 89. But his theme song is, of course, still phenomenal. And then for signatures, he has the Calf Crusher and the 450 Splash. And then for finishers, he has the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. And then lastly, in WWE 2K24, we see his overall again go down, this time to 85. His theme song was still phenomenal. His signatures were still the Calf Crusher and the 450 Splash. And then for finishers, he still has the Phenomenal Forearm and the Styles Clash. But he also added a pop-up Styles Clash, which is pretty cool. And then lastly, he has a new super finisher, which is the Spinal Tap, which looks rad. So that concludes AJ Styles. Looking at his career, it's amazing to see how far he's come from debuting in a TNA Impact game, and then going from being a TNA guy to on the cover of WWE 2K19, being the first wrestler to have a maxed out overall, additionally being the default United States Champion and the default WWE Champion. The accomplishments just speak for themselves. So despite being a little bit on a downswing, it's fair to say that AJ Styles has been, I'm gonna say it, phenomenal in all his games.